After more than 20 months of diplomatic tension, Nigeria and the Republic of Niger are likely to resume full diplomatic relations. Foreign Affairs Minister Yusuf Tuga and his Nigerian counterparts say Nigerian President Bola Tinubu and Nigerian Head of State General Abdurrahman Tichani will meet shortly to finalize the restoration of ties. Already, vital bilateral contacts have been revived, with Ambassador Tuga and Niger's foreign minister signing agreements last week during Tuga's visit. Now, following a spat over the July 2023 coup, Nigeria suspended diplomatic relations with Niger on August 4 of the same year. We're now joined by the former Deputy Permanent Representative of Nigeria to the United Nations, Ambassador Usman Sarki. Thank you so much for joining me on the news tonight.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. Well, how do you interpret Nigeria's decision to pursue these direct diplomatic relations with Niger at this time? What do you make of it?
Well, Nigeria has not closed the door entirely on our relationship with our neighboring country, Niger. Even at the beginning of this saga, when the coup took place and the democratically elected government of Mohamed Bazoum was overthrown, Nigeria did not go to the extent of severance of diplomatic ties completely with Niger. It was the other way around. It was the Nigerian military government that took the steps to actually withdraw and create incidents in the relationship with ECOWAS, number one, and then with Nigeria. So the logical step, actually, that has been taken by the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Nigeria is really to break the ice, to create the circumstance in which the ties can be normalized, if you like, and also to lead to higher level meetings of the two heads of state of the two countries. And I think the purpose of the visit is simply to reassure that this ill feeling was not taking us anywhere, and it was not necessary, and that the situation in the West African region was changing. The election in Ghana of a new president, the disposition of Senegal towards the government in Mali and Guinea, and also Burkina Faso and Niger, and also the readiness of countries like Benin and Togo to engage with the AES states. So these are actually, dispositions that have created new dynamics in terms of living with the reality of the AES. So the trip by Minister Tugar is nothing but really to explore the reinstatement of ties with a neighboring country. And if you have read the communique issues, they refer to the historical ties between the two countries, cultural ties, linguistic ties, and others, and for the need for fraternal relationship to continue. So it was just normalization of the relationship, yes.
Indeed, but Nigeria, which currently chairs ECOWAS at the moment, President Bola Tinubu, has expressed strong stance about democratic rule on the continent, particularly in the sub-region, and its displeasure when it comes to military coups in the region. So what message do you think Nigeria is sending at this time? Is it that it values strategic partnership over democratic principles? I mean, where do we draw the line to say pragmatism and democratic ideals? Because Niger is still being governed by a junta.
Well, you have said it all. Pragmatism, actually, that is the bottom line in diplomacy. The idea of enthroning of democracy is part of our foreign policy, part of the 4Ds. But the reality is that democracy is not a cultured or potted plant that you will pick from one place and locate it in another. So the objective conditions, the realities in a country must be taken into consideration. No nation can impose a system of government on another country or nation. So the idea, the pronouncement by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in Guinea-Bissau when he assumed the presidency of ECOWAS, and also I think in Kenya when he went for the climate summit, where he reiterated the same message of intolerance towards unconstitutional removal of governments, was aspirational in nature in terms of reiterating the global tendency or disposition towards harmonization of politics and also governance along democratic lines. But there was no hint that force will be used to really uphold the democratic culture or tradition in other countries. So it was simply an admonishment to leaders not to, for instance, exceed their constitutional terms or to change constitutions to suit their own inclinations to remain in power, which is also a subversion of democracy, and also for military officers to overthrow civilian government. So these are conversations that are going on in Africa where we are trying to now systematize our democratic principles to stabilize government and also to really bring our national governance along the philosophical and legal parameters of the Constitutive Act of the African Union and the ECOWAS protocols, the APRM, the NEPAD, and other principles like that.
Great. Ambassador, so in other words, Nigeria cannot afford to ignore its neighbor, such as, or its neighbors, such as Niger. But let me ask you, because when Niger, Burkina Faso, and others pulled out, and Mali pulled out, thank you. The major reason was that the regional bloc ECOWAS had failed to live up to its responsibility. But you see a country like Niger open to dialogue and renegotiate relationship with Nigeria. Is this an admittance that leaving ECOWAS in the first place was a mistake? What do you think?
Well,
and are we likely to see Mali and Burkina Faso toward the same line?
Well, of the trio, Niger is the most significant, to Nigeria in terms of proximity of our borders and the cultural and historical ties. So our own priority is to get Niger back into a situation where suspicion and this malignant tendency of looking at Nigeria as a new enemy should be dispelled and corrected. And I think the trip by Minister Togar has set that tone, the ball rolling towards the normalization of relation. And possibly we may see toward the end of the year a summit meeting between our two heads of state or two presidents. And that is simply an incremental process of restoration of ties and relationship and harmonization of our viewpoints. If you have read the communique issued on the 16th of April, it referred to a number of processes that have been ongoing from 1971, for instance, the Nigeria-Niger Joint Commission, to actually accelerate the implementation of decisions in the Joint Commission, and also to review programs and projects that are bilaterally being conducted by the two countries. And they referred specifically to the Kano-Maradi railway.
The Trans-Saharan gas pipeline as well.
Yeah, the fiber optics, the Trans-Saharan highway, and others. These are very strategic projects, strategic programs that will enhance the capacity of the two countries to enhance and scale up their relationship, and also for them to jointly participate meaningfully in the emerging African continental free trade arrangement, so that they can take advantage of that and contribute in a substantial manner towards the improvement of their respective economies and then the regional economy. So I think our attention should be first and foremost directed towards Niger. Burkina Faso and Mali are corollary to this development in terms of also they are being part of the AES, but at the same time bringing them back into the fold of ECOWAS is a necessary objective of our diplomacy in the region.
Thank you very much, Ambassador, for being on the news tonight. We do appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank
it's
you.
A pleasure.